So we're just gonna be playing a normal round of Golden Sun Dawn of Jin today. When we last left off, we made it to a meal. So we just gotta explore the town and make our way to the Mercury Lighthouse. Just give me a moment to arrange our Jin ever so slightly. Yeah, I'm not really feeling too rousy today. Yeah, there's something a little bit different with our party than per usual. Garrett kind of just disappeared somewhere, and we somehow managed to rescue Jenna already. So here she is. What it's about is we're not actually playing Golden Sun Dawn of Jin today. There's been this other... If you watched the trailer I did for the Golden Sun anniversary reveal / release, you may notice a little teaser at the very end of it. And it took me a lot longer than I thought it would, because I had to remake the mod from scratch like 3 to 5 times. But I think we're just about set. I think we finally have just about have it done. I just got this itching feeling that I'm forgetting about something, so I wanted to do a little bit more playtesting before releasing it. So I am using my save file from the Golden Sun Dawn of Jin stream, so don't mind the names. When you're actually playing this for yourself, you actually will see the names live front and center. But yeah, I guess we're calling this Golden Sun Jenna Edition. I don't know if it'll be anytime soon, but there's 2 versions of the mod that I'm working on. The one that's almost done, I call the modern version, which has a lot of things that Dawn of Jin has already featured, including the way that retreat and avoid work, all the freeze energy costs, and don't want to get into that now. You know how, like, in Dawn of Jin, like, Garrett had growth by default or something? Like, I basically just retailored that into this quote-unquote new move called Sunshine. So it's basically growth, but all the time. And one other thing that's kind of different from Dawn of Jin is the Shaman's Rod is a synergy item. I think it's a synergy item in Dawn of Jin, but this pretty much gives you the Dallas equivalent. Actually, you know what? Let's triple check that before we get too caught up in center. So give me a minute. I might as well pick up this vial before I get too carried away with things. I gotta be careful of that. Having the speed up button just at the brinks of my fingertips might be a little too much of a good thing. Alright. Come again. There we go. And as such, since we're playing more of a vanilla experience than Dawn of Jin, things like the vials are gonna be normal. Sacred Fetters have a new secondary effect because they're still kind of useless when Avoid is free. You know, you can check out the GitHub once it's live for more details, but the modern version does still have some things that are different from Vanilla Golden Sun besides the obvious. Though I'm thinking the dungeon back there in Bilibin would be the perfect opportunity to make sure that Rain, the utility equivalent of Douse, works properly. So give me 1 sec to go back to Bilibin Cave and try that out real quick. So if I'm not mistaken, should be able to rain this down. Perfect. And I think even though we did that, well, before we actually have the ability to get it, that's still relatively useless because we actually need reveal in order to actually get there. I never actually get the item tied to this part of the dungeon on my own time because, like, you have to backtrack all the way over here with reveal, and I don't even and I recall the item not even really being worth it or anything. That said, yeah, I don't think I've ever actually solved. This is one thing of Golden Sun I've never actually done, so I don't know how it actually is supposed to work. But I don't remember. But I know it's not necessary for 100%. So I don't recall it being anything worth coming all the way back here once you do get reveal. But at least we got to test out the utility synergy. That's all good. Now I should probably begin that side quest to actually go into the Mercury Lighthouse proper. Though I never did actually show off the case that, yeah, it's not just a palette swap, but Jenna's class and move pool are carried over as well, to the best of my ability. You start out with Fume, you got the Flare line, you got Beam, you got Impair. And if we were to have enough gens, we could even have Aurora, too. Alright, what's the quickest way to trigger this? Go to Old Man's house, have him get sick, and then come back to Old Man. Go to the church, and then go to Old Man again. I believe so. I'm just gonna talk to both of you just in case. Just left. You visit the old couple of entries of town. Alright, if I did this correctly, then we're speedrunning Emil getting there as quick, pretty much the fastest I've ever actually done it. Sorry, it's probably gonna take me a little bit to get used to the slight change of aesthetics. Oh yeah, for those, I'm glad we're actually getting to see this cutscene in this and not Donjin, because Donjin, I basically combined Ply and Douse into a single synergy, so it's kind of funny in its own right, but like the Ply animation is replaced with Douse just because of the way Net works, which is unfortunate because I think this scene works better with Ply, but I'll admit that just having her rain down on the old man is kind of funny too. Maybe I'll show it real quick when we resume Donjin. Like, I think I'm gonna do it next weekend. I'm a little on the fence because it'll depend a lot on if I actually do 2 streams this week. Because if I do 2 streams this week, then Donjin will probably be back next weekend, and I'll just do the people. The only reason that I wouldn't do Donjin is because I wanted to get back to doing Paper Mario Randomizer. That's been on hiatus for a long time, and part of it is because, if I'm gonna be perfectly honest, I lost a little interest in it. Just as we approach the end of the seed, it's gotten a little bit boring. Oh, can you normally get this potion so soon? Do I really want this potion so soon? It's not, it's kind of just a vanilla thing. Actually, no, what would it... I'm trying to think if there was something that, like with Donjin, that actually would have replaced the potion with, but I don't think so. Anyways, Mercury Lighthouse, let's go. And I'm kind of not sure how much I'm going to be talking because I have been having a bit of a headache on and off today. And the main reason I'm actually doing this was because I wanted to playtest this anyways, So it's probably a good opportunity to actually just get two birds with one stone. Get a stream in, have footage of this if I want to showcase it, and more importantly, make sure that everything is working. And if I'm going to think of something last minute of what I'm forgetting to add before making the patch of this public, this seems like a good way to do it. That said, big goal is to have the patch of this mod, so you too can go through your Golden Sun adventures with Jenna instead of Garrett this weekend. I was gonna have it today, but I just haven't really felt like playtesting this when I have been around home. I've just been working on the Paper Mario mod I've been working on. So after this stream, I'll probably like render the patch, get it uploaded, and then tomorrow have it available on the GitHub for everyone to try out. Anyways, I'm kind of excited right now because we're gonna get to showcase our first fight with Jenna in the party at Toad. I kind of glazed over it, but yeah, I updated all the weapons and that so that the weapons and armor that Jenna normally can equip, she's able to equip, and things that she normally can't equip, but Garrett could, like shields and that, I made sure that it was working so she wouldn't be able to equip those. For reasons you'll see in like 2 seconds, there's one thing that's probably not going to be fixed in time for the release. Weapons are a little wonky. So for that and that alone, I'm gonna oppose a challenge run on myself of going for the rest of this dungeon without any attacks, any weapons on Jenna, just for the visual aesthetics. It's a little visually weird, but perfectly functional otherwise. So you don't have to worry about handicapping yourself just to play the game. But the thing with that is like it requires hex coding, and I'm still trying to get the hang of how that works. So everything you're seeing here, I was able to do with just the Golden Sun editor without any additional coding. Like all my projects technically are well, minus like the Golden Sun tool that for getting the written scripts to work when I change writing, when I change like the names of weapons and that. But point being, like programming wise, this is all done with the editor and without any additional programming, and all my projects technically are that way. So now we have Mia in the party. Just to showcase that, yeah, you can still swap her around like before. I think like, I'm pretty sure that minus default class, Jenna and Garrett share the same classes, which is convenient for my sake. But since this is a mod this whole stream is to showcase the work I've been doing with the Jenna mod, we're gonna keep Jenna in her default class as much as possible. I guess I could go back to default overall now that we have Mia. Like, having Ivan as a healer isn't as huge a priority. I still like it and it's still convenient to me, but especially with base, you know, I've warmed up the Astro Blast and that. What's the harm of having 2 healers? We're not gonna like be able to get Jenna as a 3rd healer by the end of the stream anyways. I think it's like so on the dungeon side, things might be a little weird because I'm gonna try to take advantage of the fact that I'm going for this place once to like create my own save points, so I can like skip right, just so I don't have to play for this place twice. With Dungeon, everything is there's not really tools out there that allow you to actually change the maps around Golden Sun 1, so the dungeons themselves are exactly the same as vanilla. So I don't really feel as bad about just skipping around and cutting them out. I think for viewers' sake, that would be more convenient. If it wasn't for the fact that I was gonna say, I was just thinking there's a lot of particular reasons, but the overall point is, if I gotta go for this place anyways, why go for the same exact thing twice? If people really want to see me play for the Mercury Lighthouse, I can always just redirect them to this stream of the Jenna mod. And then they can redirect back to the Dawn and Jin videos for the particular fights. And how, plus, this might also be a good way to, like, well, it's not a good way, but it is a way to get a taste of just the differences between Vanilla Golden Sun and Dawn and Jin, because this Jenna edition doesn't have any changes to the enemies, and that all the changes are between Jenna being in the mod now, a few quality of life additions, and one or two moves. Like, I guess I might as well bring it up now. The fact that Sacred Feathers revive you now, they have Quartz effect from Vanilla Golden Sun. Therefore, I kind of just turn Quartz in this mod into a Venus version of Jolt. If you've seen the Dawn and Jin stream from last time, you know how that works. It's basically a guaranteed revive, but it only heals you to a small amount of HP. Anyways, moment of truth. Okay, Holy Ply is different from Healing Ply. I did it this way because, as you'll see here, Mia will still have access to the Holy Ply regardless of what her class is, so you don't have to worry about your class getting mixed up while going through Mercury Lighthouse shenanigans in particular. It's I'm kind of on the fence of exactly how I want it to work. It's like a synergy restoring move. But I don't really like the idea. Oh, that's right. I changed it to a really weak healing synergy move because I wanted to make it a synergy move in battle, but because it's a utility spell, it'll show up on the field no matter how I mark it. So if I had it as its original effect of recovering synergy, you would be able to use it to get your synergy up to full outside of battle. Which, it's a modern version, but I think that might be taking things a little too far. I know, like, it's not the most broken thing in the world, because you can always just synergy recovers automatically. You can just run on a circle, but I don't know. It just feels like it still, for some reason, feel like it takes a little bit of the vanilla experience out of the way. And I really want to push the vanilla experience a bit more in this mod compared to Dawn and Jin. Because the main focus isn't it being a whole new game or a whole new take on Golden Sun. It's supposed to just Jenna's in the game now. That's the gimmick. I forgot to swap my around, but it's fine. This is a vanilla fight. I'm not gonna struggle at all. I highly doubt I'll even struggle against the turtles. Knocking wood. Like, I've done struggles on hard modes. Have I gotten up to this point in my reloaded playthrough, or did I just give up and focus on playing Lost Age and just watch a video or two of it to kind of get an idea of how reloaded really works? Also, boo! This is supposed to be me showing off how awesome Jenna is, and you go ahead and have the audacity to make me not be able to use Jenna every single turn. No, we're still one turn away from restore. It's fine. Get you back up. Just gonna keep spamming Fume until the game gives me a reason not to. I guess I could also do Impair. That would probably be better long term. Well, if you resist wind... No, I think you're weak to fires, which is gonna make this upcoming moment all the more wonderful. Oh, that's right, I'm fuming next turn. It's all good. I have yet to even feel fretted, despite doing practically everything. Alright. One downside is with Jenna's stats. Now Mia's the only thing slower than Isaac. But I think we can work around with it. Also, yes, like, Garrett's profile still appears in the battle scene. I haven't really had a moment to figure out how to fix that. So those are like the two most major things that are gonna feel a little off. But I try my best to make everything else function as much as possible. Here it comes! Solid fume damage, like, it really feels broken. I guess it's kind of the case in Lost Age 2, but playing around with this on my own time and going through like the very first areas, going through those prologue battles with Jenna, I found myself realizing, oh yeah, I think I might have sold Ivan's equipment because it's... Yeah. Do I want to resist water? I'm only losing like 2 defense and it's kind of like her whole thing. Besides, now I can give the depth clothes to Ivan, which is probably more valuable in of itself. Anyways, what was I talking about? Last thing I can remember was just how much of it, I guess how used I've gotten to playing Dawn of Jin. And how much easier, how weird it feels going back to a more vanilla experience after that. Can never seem to get this, always find a reason to mess up this room. Like, this was the vein of childhood Jackie K, to be perfectly honest, this particular room. I think one of these areas I just didn't think, I think it's that I didn't think to actually hop back on here and refill my jumps or something silly like that. And then I just got stumped just because like I had a very specific way of interpreting the puzzle and you had to do something slightly different. Yeah, that's just a smoke bomb or something anyways. Don't really feel like... Because the thing is, if I went for that chest, I would have to go all the way around and do the puzzle in the room again. And I'm not exactly feeling too keen to do all that. Alright. Oh, good old Golden Sun sprites. Like, I remember occasionally running into weird graphical things playing this game on my my GBA on my own time, so I know it's not completely on me. Alright. Double check to make sure there's nothing hiding back here before I complete this puzzle. Yeah, it's just, you don't really see too many RPGs, if any, that actually do the kind of blending between just have creative puzzles like this in their dungeons. Like, I remember back in the old days, a lot of people would compare this like Zelda with RPG dungeons like The Legend of Zelda, and kind of see that that's not a terrible comparison, because like you get moves, you use moves, solve the dungeons. And you just don't really see too many RPGs that, like, take the moves and abilities that you use for battles and integrates them into solving things on outside of battle as well. Like, Pokemon's the only thing I can think of that does that. And they don't really do that anymore because, let's be honest, the HM system is garbage. Like, the fact that it took up a move pool, I totally get why people don't like HMs and why they ended up going away as a result. But if we had something like how it works in Golden Sun, I think it wouldn't be too bad. Like, the big reason people hate HMs is because it took up one of their valuable move slots. So you either have to carry up around a Pokemon that you don't really want, or waste one of your valuable 4 move slots on the Pokemon. And with this system, like, because it's a more traditional RPG and you have as many moves as you learn, there's not a particular cap or limit, you can afford to just have those abilities have uses on the overworld as well without worrying about locking out your battle abilities in some shape or form. Kind of between that and the gym system, it's just always been a shame. Like, I don't really even care if they don't make a sequel to Golden Sun anymore. Like, there's as much as I'll be happy of any sort of Golden Sun content I can get, to be honest. But more so than that, more than actually getting a sequel to Golden Sun or even a remake, what I really want to see is other game developers. I want to experience more games that actually play around with with the gym system of Golden Sun, interpret it in their own ways, and more RPGs that like make you use out of puzzle elements, kind of like how this game does. I guess I could talk about. I always been meaning to talk about my feelings about Golden Sun and sequels and that, but I never really have a good opportunity to do so. We're not really doing anything too amazing, and I always struggle with actually holding on to conversations, I've noticed over the past few years. So now it's probably the only chance I'm gonna get. So here's the thing. Under normal scenarios, of course I would want a sequel to my favorite game series of all time. Oh, we're already at the gym fight. It's fine. I can keep this tangent going. Of course, like it's my favorite game series of all time that does things that I really want more video games to do in general, a sequel would be great. However, I kind of feel like between the way that the last game ended, long story short, with the way the last game ended and the amount of time frame it's been since the last game, I feel like the series kind of backed itself in the corner, because we're gonna have to just be fair and talk about Dark Dawn. Wow. These battles go by a lot faster when you're not playing on a hard mode mod. Still a little caught off guard by that, to be perfectly honest. Yeah, like long story short, the last game ended off on a terrible cliffhanger. But half the reason why I think Dark Dawn didn't do as well as it did was because it was so long since the last game, and it really felt like the developers couldn't make up their mind of if they wanted to make a brand new story or continue on the story they left off. So they kind of took a middle ground, and I don't know if it was for the best. And because they left Dark Dawn off on a cliffhanger, I feel like if they were going to make a sequel, they would have to continue that story. Like, they left off on a cliffhanger. You can't just pretend it never happened. Unless you reboot the entire series. Which, hey, I wouldn't be opposed to that. I don't even have anything wrong, any qualms against Dark Dawn in particular. It's just that it put the series in a very awkward scenario. To the point where it feels like rebooting the series would be the only way to get it out of that scenario. Alternatively, like remake the first 2 games as one game, / make a collection with all 3 games, so any new players that get in and want to try the formula can just experience the whole thing at once. And that way, you get the excitement and hype for a 4th game and just get out of the system. And please, Camelot, if you ever have interest in this series again, please never leave us off on a cliffhanger again. We forgave you for it because we forgave you for it in Golden Sun 1 because we know you were working under tight constraints and ultimately wanted Golden Sun 1 and 2 to be a single game packaged together in the first place. But you had no freaking excuse to do the same thing with Dark Dawn. You should have just made a single experience, or a self-contained experience, no freaking cliffhangers, tell a story, and end it within the same game. Because if we do get Golden Sun 4, and everything's not wrapped up, and we end up in the same places we did before, you're just going to make the problem worse and worse every time you do so. Okay, like, I'm gonna end off that rant there, because I could go on and talk about Dark Dawn forever. It's a love-hate relationship, to put simply. Like, overall, I actually like the game, but man, the things I don't like about the game, I really don't like. I really owe myself to actually replay the game someday, just so I can have a proper platform to talk about it. After all, we're about to get into the most fun part of this, and I'm actually kind of surprised. I thought, like, Mercury Lighthouse would be a good place to just have one stream, because it would take about an hour long to go through, but I really underestimated how long it actually takes to get through this place when you actually know where you're going. Another cool thing that would be fun to fix, but I think it's the most impossible thing to fix out of all the things that I would want to fix in this mod, just the voices. At the end of the day, this is just a palette swap, and like, I feel like trying to swap the voices around would be even more complicated than trying to swap the weapons. And hi, Garrett. I mean, Jenna's with us, so he had to go somewhere. Well, Jenna, if not created. Also, yeah, again, the names are only backwards because I'm using a save file that is not, that I did not play the Jenna mod on, that I was previously playing Dawn Jin before today. So, point being, when you start a new game, it does work, where default name for Jenna is Jenna, default name for Garrett is Garrett. It's just, like, of course, if you have your own save file and then just move it over to this mod, of course it's going to be backwards because the names are already saved, because you're well past the start menu screen. I'm kind of curious to see just how quickly I pwn to those. I probably should have actually swapped my Mercury gems to someone else, just so I could just spam the Swordman class and all that. But at least we get to see Jenna's default class as true potential. There's room for both. We could have default Jenna and have Isaac as a swordsman or something like that. Just cutting edge just seems really good for this fight. Because we got ways to boost our attack, we got... Oh, that's right. It's not noticeable here, but since Garrett's not with us and Jenna has pretty much the same exact class and moves that she does in Lost Age. What was I gonna say? Because of all that, at least default class wise, there might be a way to get into it with mixed class. The guard line just disappears. So I thought I'd make an exception. I've made a few non-vanilla exceptions to this mod as is, and basically now Mia's even more busted than she already is, because she not only has the Witch line still, even though Jenna gets the Aurora line, but she also gets the guard line when she has that many gens. Hindsight, maybe it would have been better just to have Mia get rid of Wish and have her have Protect, since Jenna's gonna have the AoE healing anyways, but it just feels out. It feels too out of character for Mia, and it's not like I'm making a hard mode with Jenna in it, or even a balanced mode. Of course, if you're gonna have like 2 girls that both have an AoE healing move on the team, of course things are gonna be a little broken when you put a. Point being, I'm trying to say, of course things are gonna be a little broken when you put a character in the game that's not supposed to be in the game. Considering like Jenna's just so incredible as a battle party member as is. Alright. Yeah, would have been smart to have the Mercury Gens on someone else, but it's vanilla Golden Sun. It may be Cerdos, but I'm not scared of anything in this game with how much I didn't hurt. Oh yeah, that's right. I had to sacrifice some moves. Because, like, I turned the fire synergy line into the beam synergy line. Characters like those that already used fire, well, he had to get something in exchange. And giving him beam didn't really feel right, so now he has Nova instead. I think I'll still be fine, but I completely forgot about that, and that's a bad thing to take for granted. So you just get everyone healed up. I think we just keep spamming the water moves wherever we can. We'll be perfectly fine. Plus I'll have some time to throw a summon or 2 in the mix. Not gonna use Granite quite yet. Oh, hey Archie! Sorry, I got so caught up in the game I wasn't even paying attention to the chat. Welcome in. I know I've been streaming Dungeon the past few times, but we're taking a little break from that today to showcase a little something I've been working on in the background. Like, I was actually started working on this mod around the same time that I did the Golden Sun Lost Age Anniversary edition. Oh! Boy, am I being overzealous. I'll wait 1 round for this. Get another Ison. But you can. Well, that's fine, Archie. I was just about to say, I have been kind of inconsistent with my streaming lately anyways. Because, like, I feel like I was almost off from streaming for an entire month and only got back into streaming last week, if not the week before. So, it's all cool. Totally get that not everyone's going to be able to, even when I am streaming consistently, I totally get that not everyone's going to be able to come to every single stream. And when I'm already streaming consistently as is, that only becomes more apparent. Alright. So... I can afford to have a Granite. I just don't know what to do with that new move for Mia. Like, even just having a 30 HP healing doesn't seem too bad, but when you have it only cost 1 synergy point because you don't want the utility ability of it to be too overwhelming, yeah. Definitely gonna need some... I might wait a little bit before releasing the mod just to sort that out. And I'll have to see how long the stream's been going after this, because I have tempted to just like swap on over to Dungeon and just continue from there. We'll see how long that takes. And man, I've been having way too many close calls, just surviving on 1 HP exactly. I was paying attention if Impaired worked before, so I think I'll try one more time. Let's use Fizz so we can actually get some water summonings in the mix. That resistance boost will help. Oh, cool. Impair actually does work on him. I'm so used to, like, moves like that not working on bosses. Alright. Single attack with Gus. Fortunately, that means I have to summon with Mia, who doesn't really want to summon and do literally anything else. Yeah, I'm doing pretty good, Archie. I'll admit, like, I was fighting off a little bit of a headache earlier, but for some reason, currently I feel pretty good. Like, even going into the stream, I thought the headache might be a bit of an issue, but I haven't even noticed it now ever since I really started. And it's kind of minor, and it only started today, so, like, as long as it doesn't continue to tomorrow, I don't think it's really anything to worry about. I got way worse things to worry about on that front. So it's just nice that that's the worst thing on my mind today. Alright. Actually, what's nice is that the worst thing on my mind is frickin' Sedos somehow managing to be making me clench. Even though he's just as hard as vanilla. Maybe not. Nova's only like 5 power more than Fire, and yet I kind of feel maybe he's just tough to begin with, but it kind of felt like that that was just enough to make a difference. Again, now my content is more so that Fire's gone now, so I had to give him something that was equivalent to that. Alright, so you just gotta watch Alex be Alex, maybe teleport a bit or two. Still can't get over actually seeing Jenna's sprite on here. If it wasn't just such a pain to actually get the sprite swap to work properly without it breaking some other sprites, I would just go in and do this to Dawn and Jen right now, and we'll just play the rest of the adventure with Jen in the party. But God, it was just a pain. Like, even when I got the sprites to work, I was running into so many years trying to just implement the quality of life things along the line of can't implement the string stuff that I'm pretty sure is confident because all this was taking up space, so much space that I barely had space to edit any other things. That I can't prove that was the case, but it's all the only thing I could really assume. Actually, and seeing like how full I've been at synergy kind of makes me feel more justified with the whole Dawn Jin synergy moves costing more synergy points, especially considering all the synergy recovery options I add to Dawn Jin. Yeah, I guess it's nice to revisit a more vanilla experience to better understand why I've done some of the changes I have. Only because I was working on that mod Dawn Jin for so long that I kind of just realized, kind of forgotten why I done certain things because I was working on it for so long. Anyways, monologue saves the day for frickin' Sedos. Must resist the urge to hit the speed up button. Like, Golden Sun isn't, I guess underrated is a good term. Like, it's not an Emmy reward winning synergy anyways. Like, it's not gonna win any awards, but like for a simple RPG, it does well. It does its job well, and in my opinion, there's a lot of depth to it. Like, it's simple on the surface, but it's got a lot of world building, and there's a lot of attention to the details if you take the time to look into them. Freaking mind read being in the thing is a testament to that in of itself. Giving every NPC an extra set of dialogue that's optional and easily overlooked. That in of itself is something to appreciate. And this cutscene's still going though. I mean, like, that's part of the thing though, that I feel like Golden Sun can be implemented so much better. As much as I love the game, I know it can be implemented so much better than it has. Like, part of it is just the age that comes with being a early 2000 games. Part of it was like age when it came out, but no one really cared because everyone was impressed with what they were able to do on GBA software. That's kind of just why I'm so passionate for the series as I am, because I see the potential in it, even though I completely understand why some people would just take a glance and see a generic RPG. I see the depth and I wanted to reach the potential, and I want the formula that makes the game great to be done in a way that allows other people outside the community to better appreciate it in and of itself. And one of those things that could be better is having the games, like, take advantage of the fact that that compact so much lore and dialogue and optional things to make them mandatory, to just tell the main story in a more condensed way with a little less padding. And for the players that actually get invested into the story, they can do things like mind read all the NPCs and all that to get more of that juicy lore that they're looking into. Then again, like, as lots of talking is kind of a thing that all RPGs have struggles going through to begin with, so I guess that's part of the reason why I find it a bit more forgiving in and of itself, but it's all stuff to look into and keep in mind and to heart. Alright, don't mind me, I am going to, like, pause this right now to see how long we've been streaming. Yeah, that wasn't even an hour-long stream. So, as tempted as I am to show off, just keep playing in this, the more I play for this, the less you get to see of Dawn and Jin. And I think we got a pretty good testament of how the Jenna mod works from that. Like, the only way I could do something more is, one, just show a quick peek of Colossal, so you can actually see Jenna's sprite moving around in that. And two, jump to the very end of the game so you can see her battle in a late game setting. But I think that's a surprise that's best left up to the viewers. So I'm not even gonna leave the stream. I'm just gonna hop on over here, hit save real quick. Oh shoot, I forgot to make save states along the way, so I could just hop around when... You know, I'll probably be recording the Dawn and Jin version of Mercury Lighthouse on my own time anyways, so I'll just edit it around and make a separate video. It'll be a YouTube exclusive video until Twitch lets me premiere stuff.